Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to go over all the stuff you're going to need to know about Season 1 and even your progression in the game. So everything to do with VIP, city, research, policies, all that in one nice bang video. So if you're a low spender, experience, free to play no matter what, there is going to be something in this video for you. So stay tuned for more information. Hello, so yes, we're going to be going over so much info for Season 1. So this is for all those guys that are just started in their game for the first time and wondering how to play. We do have a full Ultimate Beginner's Guide for the free-to-play. If you want to check that out, I should have somewhere around here a nice added card, so you can just click it and then watch that, and it'll give you your daily routines and a nice introduction to the game. So what I'm going to cover though today is basically the seasonal journey. So the VIP costs, obviously what you should be investing in, your research policies, and obviously the goal of a season and how a season 1 works from start to finish. So first, we're going to cover how the season will work. Then we're going to move on into the VIP and investment sections. And then we're going to go into the research and policies and finish up with any tips that we can give you guys to Season 1. So if that's what you've been looking for, there's going to be timestamps throughout the video like always. So check out the timestamps and I hope you enjoy today's intro. So Season 1 is pretty simple. The way it works is the same as the next season that you're gonna endure. So you start in a zone 1, and that is one of the outer rims of the map. And once you start there, that is gonna be your starting zone. You can switch between regions. We've got videos on that, so don't worry if you're not in the same starting zone 1 as your maybe friends or project. You can get to them without a problem. We have videos on that again if you want to check those out. So you start in your season, you've zone 1, and the whole progress of a season is to go from zone 1 into zone 2 and finally into zone 3 to conquer the flame dragon. Why? The reason is at the end of the season you're going to get some rewards like a KVK if you do complete it and control the flame dragon, which almost could be the ziggurat equivalent from Rise of Kingdoms. It'll allow you to get the best rewards. That means you're going to get the best artifact compendium, and this allows you to basically get either legendary or artifact or epic artifacts only when it comes into this compendium. So you don't get any blues or greens. That's kind of why you want this one over the normal one. You also get a bunch of crystals that you will spend in the Yggdrasil store, which we do have videos on as well if you want to check out the Season 1 Plus opener, so you can see all of that juiciness when it comes to it. So at the end of the season, depending on what you capture, you're going to get those rewards. And like I said, those rewards determine what you can buy in the next season. And it's not too much of a head start on influence, but you are going to be able to get the same package when it comes to the rewards if you are anointed or conqueror. And what I mean by that is when you come to the rewards, this is your store, and you will get, no matter what, enough rewards if you're either first or second to get 10 crystals here, or 5 if you're in the conqueror, and then you'll be able to get the legendary ascension emblem. From there, it's up to you what you want to buy, but I personally recommend buying the CP as much as you can, because you're going to need CP to help level up those heroes, and if you level up your heroes, you can push your dragon trials, which means you won't need to waste any on that prestige. So that is how the whole seasonal reward system works. When it comes to the season features in Season 1, you've got your wonders which you can take, which you've seen. You can get all those villagers and behemoths, and obviously killing a behemoth will grant you either the ability to summon it in PvP, or if you're more of a PvE alliance, you could try the elite raid and kill it for more rewards. We're going to showcase that in a moment, don't you worry. And then we also have the obviously Darkling Guards and Forts. These are all the basic mechanics it's trying to teach you in the game. So imagine season 1 as almost the tutorial season. It gives you all the basics, almost like 70% of the game, so you can understand what's going on when you go into the next season, when you get the last 30%. So just remember that this is nice and easy, guys. This is nice and basic tutorial. Don't overcomplicate things. So when it comes to the season itself, you can see you got to defeat your behemoths, go through the passes like I said to the zone 1, 2 and 3, and then finally conquer the flame dragon. And when you do, you're going to have your seasonal reset. And this is when your season ends. So this is the final time, and we'll talk about this afterwards. But when your season ends, you will have a reset. And what this means is the items on screen only, guys. And I mean this. Only these items. So if you look right now, and I'm talking about any of these artifact levels and hero levels, these are the only things that reset. And what I mean by that is simply your heroes go from level 60 or 50, wherever they were, to 1. That doesn't mean, guys, you lose any of your investment. So if you click on these, they do tell you the same in star ratings or skill levels on your hero, or even on the artifacts will not be reset, so you keep those investments. The only things that are going to disappear are these seasonal items that you would have gained from playing. So that's your XP bucks, your CP items, arcane dust, and then the policy and dragon trial system, which we're going to talk about after, that goes hand in hand. All of it will reset, and this allows all the players to go on a level playing field. So without spending, everyone starts at the exact same. Even if you are, a free to play to a whale, you all start in the same. The only thing that you guys will always remember that you will keep in the season is your progress. So again, any of the progress from your city hall to your research center, into your troops you've made, any of your investments into these heroes to get them awakened with the star levels, you will maintain all of this. Any of your items, such as your resource tokens, as you can see I emptied out, these will all be still available to you. All your speed ups will still be available to you. And when we come into any of these buffs, these will also be available to you. And finally, when you look at this screen, again, these will go because these are healing items, so these will disappear. Any of these CP and XP will disappear too. But again, these treaters, arrows, any sweet dew, any of your gold keys, any of your hero tokens, even any of your season 1 hero tokens will all stay. So I hope that explains everything to do with the seasonal reset and what you're going to lose and what you're not. So when we come, and we're going to just briefly mention it since we're on it, the season tokens is a hotkey question. And the way the tokens work is pretty simple. Any token which says a season 1 custom token will stay. As you can see, there's no brackets compared to the CP item that says it scraps at the end of the season. So what this means is you can keep all of these season 1 custom tokens and save up as much as you want and invest when you like, even in the future seasons. But these are only available to be used on your legendary heroes from season 1, which we're going to go over very shortly. Legendary hero tokens, as you can see, can be used for any hero that you currently own that is not part of the VIP package. So that means you cannot use legendary hero tokens on Hosk or Lilia. So remember that when we go over the hero stages. So that everything now is hopefully explained to you about that season reset, what's the point of it, the rewards, and all of that jam. So to finish off the season, the way it works is a very similar system to Rise of Kingdoms, where you have like almost a server life. So you start on day 1, and this is where you will start 5th above all, and you will progress through this timeline. And by progressing through this timeline is when you will get access to other things, like being able to scout into zone 2. You'll be able to then fight different behemoths for the further down you go down, like the Thunderrock. And obviously there's different stages like occupying passes for your alliance. So there's different stages and extra rewards that you're going to get by going through this season. So I hope that makes sense to you. That is the whole seasonal reset and the season play style of Rise of Kingdoms, all explained for you in Season 1. So when you get to the final stage, and this is where a lot of you now are going to be at, you're going to get to the final stages, and depending how the Rise of Kingdoms or Lilith or Firelight, however they're going to do this for Call of Dragons, at the moment, all we know is in the global launch, there's a roster of between, I think, 50 to 70 servers, meaning any of you from server 30 all the way up to, I believe, server 70-ish could be matched against anyone. I cannot confirm if this is correct or not. There's been a load of other videos on it as well from a different assumption cases as well, and evidence that's there. So it could be something that supports it. So just be wary when it comes to the end of season, because when you come to the end of season for your very first season, you will get the special end of season summary icon where my icon was a little circle. We'll put a little mark on the screen for you so you can understand what we're talking about. So around here on screen, you will get an icon, and this will be the seasonal end, and it'll give you a timer. Normally that timer is around 3 days and 7 hours. Once you complete that time, your account or the server will basically shut down. You will be in a maintenance, so you can't log in anyway, for between an hour to 2 hours, depending on what kingdoms or, I'm guessing, power of players are being merged together. And once that is completed, you will then be able to go into your account, click on this icon again that would be appearing up on this top screen here where this X is, and by clicking it, you get access to your store and you'll be able to fight. But in that season summary, if you check out our Season 1 Plus first look video, you'll be able to see that you're able to check out who you are facing, which is a very important key element when you are going into a future season. So just remember that when you are looking at a potential ally in the future, you might need to wait until that season summary icon comes up so you can check the division that you are fighting in. So we're going to finish out this section with the division talk and just explain what a division is, and it's just a very simple way of explaining what a KVK format would look like. So at the moment we're in a server which is in Season 1, which does not have it. So I'm going to quickly switch over to our main and we'll discuss the final point, and we'll move on into the research side and then the policies. So now, as you can see, being on our main account, we have our division, and the division is a very simple thing. We click on the magnifying glass and you can see now the servers competing against each other. So server 2, 6, 7, 8 and 9 is our current division, meaning when you guys do reset in your Season 1, you would then migrate into a kingdom against those other numbers that you might be facing. So I hope that explains how the whole season migrate and reset system works when you're entering a brand new season for the first time against some other servers. So with all that said, that is how the season actual adventure works. I hope you've stayed in tune, and what we're going to go over now is, for all you players, is the reason why you need to know why a season works, because your main aim and game plan should be progressing. So let's talk about progression in the game, and then we'll talk about some other features like the research policies and VIP. Now, we've gone over the season, so what do you need to do? So when you enter the game, you're going to be obviously 0 power, or maybe over 1,000 power when you obviously enter. The aim of the game is to try and push your City Hall eventually to City Hall 25. This obviously takes a different amount of time depending if you're free to play, low spender. Obviously the time invested as well does change all of these. So how do you do this? Obviously when we look into our city, there's a number of buildings, and every single time you progress, you are always about building some sort of upgrade. Compared to any other game, similar to maybe like Clash of Clans and that, This game only requires you to complete one of the requirement buildings. So make sure you remember that. So when we go into the next screenshot that's going to appear soon, when we're going over the city progression, you're going to realize every time you're going up a city hall, obviously you're going to gain some military buffs as well as some expansion, as you can see, which is really nice for your marches. But more importantly, every single time you hit a certain milestone, you're going to gain some extra units. So for example, your first one is City Hall 10. This is when your tier 2 will unlock, and again we're going to go over that when we see it in the research section. City Hall 16 is when your tier 3 units unlock, and then at City Hall 21 is when your tier 4 units unlock. But you'll notice after every stage of a City Hall upgrade from a Citadel, so when we're going from 16 to 17, you will also gain a Legion queue. So remember that even if you're going to be a free-to-play player, it will be worth investing to going from a 4th to a 5th march on 22, because it's going to maximize everything that you're going to need when you're playing Call of Dragons. So let's go and showcase the actual upgrade. So on screen now will be a nice, amazing, detailed infographic from the Blood Dragons community. I must thank, I think it was Steelhard or Chad, one of you two. I know you guys made it, but thank you for whoever did it in the BD family. You guys, honestly, amazing for actually data formatting this up. But you're going to be able to see here the time and power gain that you gain for each time you upgrade, which is an amazing little intro. So again, when we're looking at certain things, if you want to take a screenshot right now, you can. This will show you again at level, for example, 10, you're going to need your wall at level 9 and your College of Order to level 9. So certain buildings you can see are going to be required at certain levels. So that's what you're going to be working towards as a player. So when we now remove this from screen, we're going to focus on what you should actually do. So when you go to any City Hall progression, a lot of players might ask, what do you prioritize? And for me, my prioritize is pretty simple. We always do the City Hall first, obviously, but after the City Hall, you should always do your Alliance Center second. Why? Each time you put a point in your Alliance Center, it's going to allow your members in your alliance to press the help button. And every time they press the help button, it's going to allow you to reduce so much time of your either building or research and even policies, which is going to obviously save you speed ups and time. It's a very important thing to do in the long term. So always invest getting this done first as soon as you've completed your City Hall. Once you've done this, in my opinion, you can do 2 routes. My main route is to actually upgrade the research center. So my third built-in always is the upgraded on the research. Why? Every single time we upgrade this research center, you will get a research speed bonus, as you can see. So it's very important to get these bonuses so you can reduce that time it's going to cost you to do your big boy researches later on. So that's why we go in that order. From there, it's up to you. You can do either 2 routes. If you're maybe a low spender or whale, you could actually upgrade these barracks every level 2 just to maintain a high troop building rate compared to another player. But if you are a free-to-play player, what I would advise afterwards, and once obviously a low spender is completed, maybe doing the training section, you will do what I would call the wall combo. So obviously the city requirement might need something. So in argument's sake, if we go and bring up the data sheet, and we look at City Hall 17, we're going to need the Abbey as well as the wall to 16. So if we do that, what means is we're going to get this Abbey, which is our, I believe, Mage's area. So it's called a Satyr's Lodge if you're a Wilderberg player. And if you upgrade this to 16, then the last thing is the wall combo. And the wall combo will always be the same, guys. Once you hit a certain city hall level, you'll realize to upgrade the wall, you must always upgrade one of your foundries up. So you can see my foundry is always 24. You also need to upgrade a shaman hut. That's why this one is also 24. And then you would be able to upgrade your wall. So just remember, no matter what building upgrade you're going to have, there's going to be 3 key ones that you always have to do. So I hope that makes sense to you. So throughout the season now, you're going to be obviously fighting behemoths, progressing through the season. But as your account grows, you're going to get stronger. So when you get to that season reset, you're already going to be, instead of City Hall 1, you'll be City Hall 16 or 21 or 24, meaning your progression in the next season will be faster, a bit more quicker, it'll be more streamlined, it'll be more fun, and you get introduced into some new mechanics. So that is the theme of the game. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to go now into the research and policies, and then afterwards we're going to go over some investment stuff and my advice on maybe wheels and what you should be maybe spending those hard-earned gems on. So research is one of the things that everyone obviously struggles with when it comes to Call of Dragons. They're wondering how to get around it, but you always have to go through. Obviously you got 2 trees. We have the eco tree and we have the military tree. So what we need to do first, in my eyes, is when you first start, honestly put 1 point into both. Why? If you do that, you're going to be allowing yourself to actually unlock a lot more through some of the tips that we're going to talk about. So a lot of the early game architecture stuff, even up to architecture 1, can be unlocked through scouting. Same with your military tech. As soon as you get conscription, you can get all of these military ones done by actually just scouting the fog. So you don't have to waste any speed ups here and get these done to a satisfactory level, basically, which will allow you to get intelligence gathering done first. So once you get to here, you're going to be at 1 out of 5. And once you get to 1 out of 5, you just need to double check if it does require anything else. But you'll get to tier 2, and to get to tier 2 here, you are required to get to City Hall 10, remember. So you're going to get to City Hall 10, and once you get to City Hall 10, you're going to get access to tier 2. You can ignore this troop if you want to. I do, in my opinion. I just train tier 1s, and then I focus on pushing through to the tier 3. So tier 3 you unlock at level 16. So if we draw that on so you guys can see that, we get at level 16 all of our T3 here. So anything before that is what we're going to call minimum or min effort, right? So you're going to put in the minimum effort to get to this stage. Why? Because if you do that, you're going to be able to save yourself a bunch of speed ups. So what you're going to do is, again, as follows, get this to 3. You're going to get this to 1, 1, 1, 1. And then if any of these skills require any of these back skills to be at level 3 or 5, you then do them. Once you do them, you can then complete your infantry skills and then move forward to get conscription. And I would again get conscription to at least 3 when we're going to it. Why? Because you're going to need a little bit of training speed up, and it is required to get these guys done. So once you've gone through that stage, we will be going across into a tier 4, and this is when things start getting expensive. But as you can see here, this is what the minimal requirements needed to hit tier 4. So make sure you get pathfinding 5 out of 10, assault strategies 5 out of 10, intelligence gathering 5 out of 5, 3 and 3 on the other 2, and you're good to go. You'll be able to unlock any of these guys and obviously progress to tier 4. Tier 4 obviously unlocks at City Hall 21, and when you're picking your first tier 4 unit, you should always pick the unit you started out with as your faction. So if you're a Spring Warden player, you should be picking the archers and play with your archer characters that you've been working towards. Or if you're a League of Order player and you've been playing mages, then you can go for the long leaves. Obviously, if you're a low spender, this might not obviously matter to you, so you can go through as you'd like. But I would always then go for the treants or your front line third, and then finally do your elk riders last. And once you get all completed, you'll get into your forest eagles, and then start progressing to the later stages. Just a word of warning, if you are going to try and be a T5 player, some of these researchers do become costly. For example, on the main account, which people have seen through live streams, these three without any research buffs, and that is without even the 15% research speed at VIP 12, these will cost you up to 111 days to complete the final one. So that's over 300 days worth of research. So make sure you are in a behemoth, or you've got runes on top of that to give you a massive amount of reduction at the end of the season to get these cooking. So I hope that covers the research and the tree, what you need to do. Honestly, it's pretty self-explanatory, similar to the building strategy. Just do as minimal as requirements when you're going through the military tree. So we've covered the military, let's go over the eco tree. And the thing is with the eco tree, even though we've explained now how you can work towards your T4, nice and easy to explain, your eco tree will be, guys, the first tree you work on. Why? The eco tree gives you so much goodness. So you can get building speed reduction, you get even more research speed reduction, and further down the line you can get even more building speed, but even further, again, you can get research speed. So if you really want to be as time efficient as possible, you should be maxing out your scholarships first, and then you work back. So as you can see, I'm leveling up this 4 out of 10, but I still have tech back here at 3 and 2 out of 10s, for example, that are not done. And same with these guys, these are now 5 out of 10 and able to be unused, but I'm still finishing off scholarship first in order to get these down even cheaper. So make sure when you go down the eco tree, you will go down and get all the cost reduction first before going 5 out of 5 on any of the things behind yourself, basically. So you always go forwards when you work back on yourself. So a really good idea to do. But always make your eco tree tech first. Again, if you do your eco tech tree first, obviously we're getting that research speed reduction, and that is going to make our tech here even cheaper. So it all comes together. So I hope that makes sense for you guys when it comes into the research side of things. So now what we're going to do is speak about policies and dragon trials, because they all work in hand, right? So when you look at your enact, you unlocked the notice board, I believe around City Hall 6 or 7. And then you must go to your dragon trials. By going to your dragon trials, you're going to be able to complete a tutorial mission at the very start, which is the very first level, so level 1. So once you complete level 1, and maybe try and get to at least level 5 before you exit here, just as a little, starter package. Once you get this done, you're going to be able to go into your prestiges. And if we go on the main account after, you're going to see a really good example of prestige pushing in the correct order. So in the policies, what you're going to do is always, and this is the biggest tip, complete your military expansions first, but you're going to go into military expansions 2, and then you're going to go into 1. But we're going to showcase this on the main. But what we do on the policies is the exact same as the research. So you're going to do the minimal requirements. So this is going to be 1 and 1. These will all be free, and then this will be unlocked, allowing you to go forward and then get in military expansion 2, which you would then get to around 5 to 8 out of 15, depending on how much prestige you've got, and then you would go back and do military expansion 1, because this will be then a bit cheaper. And the reason you do this is you get way more bang for your buck when you go into military expansion 2, and it gives you that troop capacity to go back into that dragon trials and complete and push through. So as you notice, Dragon Trials is the campaign system of Call of Dragons, and with that, what happens is every single stage you complete here, you're going to gain some stars, and every single stars matter, guys. The higher stars you have, the more passive XP per hour you're going to gain, the more Dragon Glass, and even the prestige you need to keep pushing those policies. you can come here into the claim and you can claim a full up to 24 hours rewards, and you can get 1 free quick loot every single day. With that, you have the store. The store, you can buy it whatever you would like, but in my opinion, you should get Indis, because you will max out these epic heroes really quick, guys. And you will notice that if you don't have an Indis, there's going to be other players that do, and you will notice they'll be able to push dragon trials and other content faster because they're able to push the damage out and get the policy increase. So let's go over to the main account, and we're going to summarize the policy stage so you can see how I have done it on the main, and then we're going to go into the VIP and investment stages when it comes to looking what you can do with your gems as a player in season 1. So now we are on the main account. So if we just quickly just pop out, you can see this is where we're playing on the main. When we go into our policies, you'll notice the structure of what we were talking about. So we always do the minimal requirements unless something else specifies. So we're going free all the way down, apart from war studies. I'll talk about that afterwards. And then we will progress forwards. You can see I've pushed forward, put this to 1 out of 15, and allowing me to go 5 out of 15 on all of these, and then pushing back all the way up to 10 out of 15 for myself on military expansion 2, which has allowed me to then go obviously back and put up military expansion 1 to around 7 out of 10 when it needs to. We're always trying to work with the cheapest type of tech we can. So when we go forward now, you'll notice there's these techs are the exact same, 5 out of 20, which are allowing us to now go into military expansion 3. Obviously big requirements for this now, but we can save and get more of this obviously through our dragon trials. This is an 18-hour, and for me, I would not waste any gems here, guys, unless you're a big spender and you've got the capability to do so. But then you're going to have obviously your healthcare reforms. These are what you're going to be using as a free-to-play player. This is the last thing which we haven't touched on and why I've left it to the end, and it is your free healing. Free healing is a very important system that you need to get to grips of, and in here is where you're going to get a lot of free healing production. And the way free healing works is pretty simple. If we go into the healing section right now, you can see we have our elixir healing. We have so many troops currently wounded from battle. But at the very top here, we can see a timer. And once that timer technically is hit all the way down to 0, that means it will have had over 77,400 troops worth of free healing completed. So the aim of the game, guys, is to basically use your troops and then hit the free heal. And as soon as you start doing that, as you can see, it's going to start getting all of this resource back. And as you do, you can start obviously gaining more and more. We can obviously increase this as well. If we go into the alliance section, we can go to the store here and we go to the merits. You can see I have over 180,000 from fighting so far. So if I buy some of these elixirs, for example, which is a big amount of chunk, but it's a really good amount of sustained for us when we go into fight, you'll notice when we consume these items now, instead of having obviously 626, it's going to give us a bunch more. So if we go into our items right now, grants a designated amount of elixir. Let's use it. Press it. And now we have 50,000, which allows us again to select what troops we want. So let's heal our 50,000 worth of spearmen. And then we can go into our inventory again, hit the 50k, gain that nice amount of healing, and as you can see, we're using the free healing system against obviously the merits that we've earned through PvP. And that's how you're going to reduce your healing all the way down while you're fighting through maybe a couple of days. Obviously, when tough times get tough, you can use your resource healing to get, you know, the last little pinch right there. But if you noticed, even for myself right now, if we were going to try and train all these troops, even just the Wyvern Riders, 135k is a mass amount of resource, and obviously we only have a certain amount of this per day, which is generally around a full march, which is okay to work with when you need it in a very quick pinch. So that's how the healing system works with the policies. Obviously, it's important to get more policy increase because obviously the more of this production and obviously the more limit we're having, you can see instead of having only about 65,000, we're on 77.4. This can also be increased in Season 1 Plus, but we will ignore that. And if you can ignore the villager on the screen, that is from the Stars Reignited campaign. You will not have this in Season 1. That is something you're going to get later on, and I will be doing a video on it, so don't you worry. A really cool system in the game. So that is the big package. That is everything you need to know with Call of Dragons in the whole in-depth version. That is your Season 1 complete guide and basically your, account on how to upgrade. So what I would suggest now is what we're going to go over is VIP as well as different types of investments, because you're going to earn gems from completing certain things, which we're going to go over, like your behemoths and your events. And once you go into that investment section, you're going to see why it completes the guide in the very end, and then we'll finish up with some nice top tips to give you guys a little bit more of an edge and fun zone at the end. So let's talk about rewards and investments, because the thing is, this game has a ton of ways of getting them. So the first one we're showing is behemoths. You can complete behemoths by killing them on the map. In order to kill a behemoth, you must be touching it with an alliance flag and obviously be part of an alliance. Once you've killed it, you can, after 4 hours, then trigger the elite raid, and by completing the elite raid first on the entire server within that 4 minutes 50 time limit, you also receive the elite raid frame. This is a one-time season thing, so obviously next season you might have the option to get it, but maybe in the future when there's a new map and new behemoths, this might be gone. So try and get it when you can. So obviously when we kill behemoths, we're getting gem rewards. You also get gem rewards for the first occupation. We can also get different types of rewards through our rare and common gifts, and you can also earn gems through events and obviously through spending in the game. So when you do have your, gems in your account, what should you be spending on? Because obviously when we look into that, we have different things. We have VIP, we have wheels, and we even have, events such as the Forge of Light for the artifacts. So when we go into it, I'm going to first talk about what a free-to-play player should do, and then we're going to go into more of a low and medium spend, because that is basically a different animal when we go into things. So the first thing we're going to talk about is VIP. There's a lot of things in VIP to talk about. And the very first thing as a free-to-play player, in my eyes, you should put all of your gems in is VIP. The first time you can get all the way to VIP level 8 for 35,000 gems, you're going to get access to a legendary hero token every day, and more importantly, a second research queue and that beautiful 10% research speed. But altogether, this is a massive milestone for a free-to-play and even low and high spender. Why? Having a second research queue allowed you to obviously cut the speed in half of the research that you're going to need, and that is a very long process in order to complete. So when you're going to go for this, again, this costs us 35,000 gems. However, again, courtesy of the BD family, we do have some more info. So right here is the season spending plan, or if we go back into the last screenshot, let me just pull it back up. So if you look at this screenshot right now, this is the one to explaining your VIP. So if we go and zoom it out, right now, I don't know why it loaded up big, I do apologize everyone. You can see how many gems it's going to cost in total. So VIP is 2, 4, 12, 5, and it goes all the way, and we need to go up into 8. So in total, you need 35,000 gems. And when you go each level, you can see the categories as well, which is really nice. So if you're looking for a certain, spend purchase, you can see again what levels increase per one. When you're at VIP level 8 again, this is when a big push happens, and then in my eyes, it's VIP 10 and then 12, and finally all the way down to the big ones. And the reason is when we go into, again, the VIP. Because the VIP, when we hit VIP 10, now gives you that training speed. Obviously at 10 also we unlock Hosk, so you have the ability to unlock Hosk. And then when we go across into 12, we get that massive amount of research speed, and we're starting to gain these PvP Legion stats, what completes your marches. When we hit the ending game, you can see why level 14 and 15 is the end game for spenders, because you get so many big stats. Obviously this is ridiculous amounts of investment, but obviously if you hit VIP 15, for all those guys that are able to do it, the return for investment is always going to be worthwhile, because it's going to allow you to cut down all of your costs by the maximum proficiency available. So definitely would recommend to do it. Obviously we're in the VIP 15 chest, we get some legendary medals and so on, but everything before from 14 to 10 is what you would need to expertise your Hosk. Hosk would get 5111 from just his first ever chest, while if you look at Lilia would need to get her first, second, third, and I believe fourth and fifth, completing it all the way to $9.99. So it's about $10, and that would get you a 5111 Lilia. So those are the VIP options and what you should be investing into in the early game. But then we've got our events. And in day between 9 and 12, you will see the first spend event, and that is the Lucky Spin. If you guys don't know, you can check out one of those videos, but the Lucky Spin events are where you can spend your gems on tickets to spin for specific commanders. In Season 1, those commanders is Madeline and Kinnara. And Kinnara is going to be the very first wheel you see. So when you first see this, this is going to be an archer commander. And if you're looking to play archers, I would highly recommend unlocking her as well as investing into her. Because even at a 5111 state, she's a very good investment for low spenders. And at 55551, she's one of the best low investment choices for PvP combat for archers. So definitely really good to play. And in Season 1, you can grab first. Obviously, the wheels for these commanders come on a Tuesday normally, and it lasts around 3 to 4 days. So once you've completed that, you must wait a week, because there's a week downtime, and then the next week after is when it will return. So don't get spooked if it's not there straight away. You will hopefully get free wheels, because that's what normally every server so far has obtained. Once you've done the Kinnara wheels, then you will then get Madeline. And Madeline will be the infantry commander that most players will be aiming to unlock if you're trying to play infantry. She is the #1 infantry commander in the game by a landslide, and she is a powerhouse when it comes to the game. So definitely, if you're looking for investment, again, you could unlock Madeline like I have, and I use her even at a 5221, and she is phenomenal. You can then get her at 5551 again, which is amazing, and even one of the best commanders. When you do expertise her, she becomes super tanky than what she already is. So she's a very, very good commander if you're looking for something to invest into. So when you're looking for artifacts, artifact investment works through the Forge of Light event. That thing comes around and you can roll the wheel again, or roll the artifact compendium version of it to try and roll for some of these. Greymar's Warhammer is on the Forge of Light, same as the Viola's Bow, and there's a few others that you'll notice that you might not have because you might have not seen the event yet. This is also true for stuff like the Bloodblade banner. This was in there. Same with the brand new ones, as well as Visage and Infernal Flame. So these are just different events that are more like the wheel event to unlock these specific artifacts. So if you're trying to get one of these, just try and save your gems for those events too. So when you're looking for a game plan, and I'm going to give you now my game plan tip for the end of the season, or maybe at the start of the season, should I say, when you're looking at the game, you should have one of two game plans. Either pick Archer or pick Mage. You cannot go wrong with either, guys. Picking one or the other is going to allow you as a player to then focus on what you need. And if you're picking archers, it's going to allow you to get your archers at a very high level, as you can see, like mine. And these are the new heroes, as you can see, with the Season 2 icons. So these are what you're going to be unlocking in the future with Freygar and, for example, Syndrion. But you are able to do the same with mages, right? So if you're a mage player, you can have Valen and you can be working on these epics. And if you wanted to, you can unlock Lilia, or alternatively, you can again save all of your heads, because there's going to be future mage heroes, guys, where you can save all of your heads and pump it straight away into a new hero, so you can go straight away hard with a brand new command in the game. So that's the two routes. Pick one or the other. And once you've picked one, stick through it for the first season. If you enjoy it, keep going through in the next season. But the beauty of a season reset, as you guys heard before, you are actually able to, while you are passively obviously upgrading our Valen here, we've been getting a nice 52111 Emeries, which we've now been able to use in this new season. So you can then, you know, experiment with different commanders at 5111, or whenever you have them at 551, for example. It's up to you, but you can understand that my drift now when it comes to a season reset, why it's good that you can experiment now with different troop types after the very first season, once you've hyper focused on your account. So I'm going to give you some nice general tips what you should be doing in Season 1. And the first one is always going to be scouting. Scouting is your #1 friend, and every single reward in this other tab right now is free. And once you've claimed it, in the next season when you reset and go into a new map, you will not have to dispel the mist, but you will be able to claim all of these rewards again. So it's really good for free to play and the low spender, because obviously these camps will give you tier 3 and 4 units, as well as your heads for your heroes, even if they're awakened. That's scrap for stars and gold keys, so you're able to gain out of that. Also, remember when we're coming into Season 1, when you're wanting to be a big boy behemoth slayer, archers are king. So no matter what anyone says, if you bring a powerful enough archer march, even if you're a spender compared to another spender, an archer will deal the most single target DPS to any of these behemoths. The only times where you can use mages is basically to dumb down the behemoths, which we all explain in a lot of our behemoth guides. But if you're looking trying to be the best specific pro in a role, then archers is the way to kill all of these behemoths. But mages can still do an okay amount of damage, but just not as good as mages. But when we flip it on the next tip, you'll realize mages are the best in PvP combat. Because in PvP combat, what can be occurring is, once these enemies are getting hit by, say, AoE, I could be targeting a march that's tier 4, and these marches next door could be, for example, tier 5. And if I've got a mage unit and I'm only taking damage from a tier 4, I'm dealing 3 AoE damage on these tier 5 without dealing any consequences. So it's a really good tip for you to do. Also, another tip for me that I would advise, and I can't show you anymore, is honestly do not buy the worker bundle. I personally think 5,000 gems is a waste of gems for the second builder permanently. Yes, you can build your things quicker, but you'll realize the investment for the second builder is really good early game, but the further on you get to the mid and late game, it becomes worse and worse. And we want long-term investments, because again, Call of Dragons is not a sprint, guys. It is a marathon. We said this so many times through different videos and the live stream when we're talking about Call of Dragons. So just remember, if you can get a long-term investment, that is better for your account. So that is the complete Season 1 guide for myself. If I've missed anything out, I do apologize. Smash a comment below if you've enjoyed the video, and if you want me to cover anything else in the guide, I will. But that is everything you're going to need to know with how the seasons work, your policies, research, and obviously everything that is Season 1. So if you've learned something today, smash like, comment, and subscribe. But until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out, guys.